Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Kyren Monteiro, man. Y'all here on the KYREN Monteiro Show, episode number 6, man. Got a special guest, man. The young homie Matthew Monroe, CEO of Matty Prince. Been around for about a year here in, man, Indiana. And, man, I just heard some good things about this young fella, so we're going to give him a round of applause. Definitely deserve that, man. So, what's good, man?
What's up, boss? Doing all right?
I'm good, bro. Trying to take it a day at a time, moment by moment. That's all you can do, man. You have a dynamic life story in general, and I don't even want to waste no time. I want to dive into that. You born and raised here, man, in Indiana. Tell us what that was like growing up.
Man, grew up on Southside Boot Street. So I'm sure you know how that can go.
Southside?
No, man. It was some good days, man. It was some bad days, but we made it through it.
Okay. That's what's up, man. You had some, even past growing up, you've had some things that you've been blessed to live through. You know, you dealt with a major car wreck. You battled cancer. As much as you're willing to elaborate, tell people about going through that and just coming out of that and still being here, because that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I like to tell people that how people like to bring up how they have 9 lives. How I've definitely used up 2 of them. Colon cancer, 2016, man. I was 21 years old. One night I was hanging out with a couple buddies, tossing back a couple beers, and I started to get sick. It wasn't a normal like partying sick, so I ended up going home, man. About 3 days later, I was up in Fort Wayne on my deathbed, man. They were shoving tubes down my throat, and a couple days after that, they were telling me that it was cancer. A couple days after that, they're like surgery, chemotherapy. But I mean, 8-10 months later, man, I was done. I was good to go. So I mean, it was a traumatic experience, but it was a blessing for it to come and go as fast as it did.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, round of applause for the blessing, bro. For you to be alive, man. God definitely got a mission for you, man. I like so. You've been cancer-free. You've been in remission since, what, 2017? Or late 2016? How?
It was late 2016. I want to say right about August, September, that area. It was good to go.
Man. Yeah, man. You've been blessed. So how has your outlook on life changed since then? Because that's normally men don't deal with things like that until they get older at times. Colon cancer, prostate, stuff like that. 21?
21. So it was the doctor for the colon cancer. I was the youngest person by 14 years that he had with that specific cancer. My grandpa was in his late 60s when he was diagnosed with colon cancer. So it was definitely a first.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever hear, somebody being on their deathbed at 21 from colon cancer. Yeah, man. You definitely blessed. And you've dealt with, you said a head-on collision with car in a car wreck. So how was it living through that? That's crazy.
I had to learn how to write. Had to learn how to use this hand, man. I was stuck in a chair for like 4 months. Couldn't even lay in the bed next to my wife, man. Couldn't even give her cuddles, like simple stuff like that. Walking with, first I started with the actual walker with the 4 legs. Then I went to the cane. Then but now I'm back at work, Walmart, DC. I work out there full time still, and I'm running 130s with the big dogs. So it's a blessing, man.
That's dope. And when did that accident take place? Was that before or after dealing with the cancer?
That was after that happened. 2020, the winter of 2020.
So okay, so that's more recent.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's rough. So you've been through since 21. You just turned 26, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you're 26 now. So just in your 20s, you dealt with 2 life-threatening situations. Like when you wake up and move on a day-to-day basis, how does that shape, your outlook on life? Because stuff like that got to change you, right?
It does, man. It every day I wake up, I tell myself I got to get it done. I got to get the job done, whether it's getting the job done for my wife, whether it's getting the job done for my younger siblings, whether it's getting the job done for my mom, because I don't have any kids.
Okay.
It's just that you never know what could happen. I was on my lunch break at work when the wreck happened for a day that I came into work early. So I would have originally been on my lunch break about 9 p.m., but I came into work 2 hours early, so I was on my lunch break at 7 p.m. So I could argue that, me putting the extra foot out there and trying to get the job done is what put me in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to argue that that's just a prime example of why you got to keep grinding no matter what, man.
Yeah, man. I definitely agree with that. And so I would say that those things had to inspire you to start your business, Matty's Print. And this show originally wasn't created to be based on entrepreneurship and business, but majority of the guests, pretty much all the guests up until this point, have either owned businesses or it's centered around business stuff. And so I'm intrigued by young entrepreneurs, man, and I think it's very important for the innovation of communities and culture to see young business owners, man. So tell us about your business. Tell us, go into it. Like, why did you get into it? Why did you choose the type of business? How did you get it? Like, tell the people about your business.
Okay. Matty's Prints LLC. We are a small print shop that's dreaming big. We offer everything from apparel. We can get you business cards done. We can bring memorial items to you. Everything from T-shirts to mugs. We can also help with signage for businesses. That could include banners, billboards, yard signs, decals for your vehicles, magnet or permanent adhesive. We offer lots of different services. If we can't get it done, we got friends in the business that we can outsource from. So no job is too big, no job is too small. The reason we started the print business was mainly to provide custom apparel on a professional level.
Okay.
I was having trouble getting a hat, man. Honestly, I wanted a hat with a cancer symbol on it.
Okay.
And I could not get one nowhere. Not one that I wanted, not one that I liked. So I was like, man, there needs to be somebody out here that can make this happen. Well, there was, but I couldn't find anybody that I wanted to get the job done. So I decided, man, I'm gonna get this job done myself. At the same time, I knew that with my past, I didn't want to punch a clock for the rest of my life. I didn't want to have to worry about, oh, boss, hey, I'm sick again. I got cancer again. What can you do for me? I didn't want to ask a boss, hey, am I allowed to take this leave so I can go get my body back together, So I decided I gotta figure out a way to make some money. What can I do to help me get to that self-employed role, which is one of my main goals is become self-employed. And so I decided to link the two together, and I brought my first machine.
Hey, man, we got to give him a round of applause on that, man. So, just like a lot of people, things that you went through in your life and is how you ended up to this point as a business owner. There are a lot of people who are starting apparel lines and a lot of different things that are merchandise related, and you're supplying the services for these kind of businesses. How much space do you think it is for people to have apparel, because just like hip hop, just like, you know, YouTube and content creating and a lot of different kind of other creative businesses, it seems to be oversaturated, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like everybody, you know, got some kind of clothing line or apparel line that they're trying to start up. Why do you think that is, man?
I think at the beginner level, I think it's a very easy business to get into. It's the startup cost is pretty cheap. You can get a vinyl cutter and a heat press for just a couple $100.
Really?
Yep. And I mean, so it doesn't take a lot to get started. When you look into like the embroidery machines though, and like the large format printers, you can get into some pricey things. But I think even for like at home on the small level, for like mothers that stay at home moms that want to make a little extra buck, it's a easy way for them to make that happen. But I think what will differ me from the other small businesses as well is the type of offer, like the services we plan to offer. But overall, man, it's just honestly, it's not that hard to get into. But at the same time, how many people out there in our city got kids? How many of them kids have birthdays every year that are gonna want a specialized shirt for the first 12 years of their life? You know, that's a specialized T-shirt they want every year for each kid in that school, not including all their baseball teams, all the customizable football helmets. So there's definitely numbers out there.
So I'm sure when it comes to what you do, to get great at it,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to, you know, get bigger as you're doing in real time, there has to be a skill set, right? There has to be you have to master what you do. And so you said anybody can go buy, you know, vinyl presses or whatever it is for that industry. But what separates, you know, the high talented companies versus people who really don't know what they're doing and just doing it for the money? I'm sure there's a skill to what you do. What and you know, kind of describe that.
Absolutely, man. So like, especially when it comes to the bigger brands and the bigger businesses, there's a quality aspect. You might be able to go to someone and pay for a $12 per shirt, you know, but they also might be giving you, I won't put the brand out there because I don't want to tarnish any names in the future, but sure, they might give you that extremely basic T-shirt that they got from the Wally World, and they might be using that vinyl that might come off after 2-3 washes. So not only do you got to make sure you're getting quality material from somebody, you also want to make sure that that person cares. You want to make sure that that person is going to put in the extra time. They have the patience and the knowledge and the skill sets to make that happen. From someone that has the designing experience to make the designs exactly how you need them, to tweak them, any editing that you need to get done. There's definitely a skill level, and I think that gap can get it's hard to close sometimes if you don't know what you're looking for.
So do you need to be artistic to get into what you do, like being able to draw and do the graphic designs?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you yourself, you're creative in art some kind of way?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when it comes to, there's a lot of designing you got to do on that computer, man. You got to be patient as well.
Is that Photoshop or is that another kind of software?
Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
Some pretty high-tech stuff on there.
Okay. I'm familiar with some of the Adobe products. Okay. Because in episode 3, like me and you talked about that, identifying the skill set and then turning it into a learned skill set. People don't want to put the time to become great at something. You know what I mean? I do many things, but like one thing I specialize in is audio engineering. And it's like somebody can have a laptop and go buy a startup studio bundle for $300, but it don't mean your record gonna sound like a Drake record. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Don't mean you gonna sound like Beyonce or some of these other people out here. So I think that at whatever people do, there's always a skill set that separates the boys from the men. So it's interesting to hear you talk about the designing part, because when it comes to doing shirts for people, you don't hear people emphasize the designing part and that kind of technique. So let's say if somebody already has, let's say if I come to you and I already have a logo done, I want you to put my company logo on the shirt and sauce it up even more than what it is. Do you still further design something like that, or do you kind of just throw it on there? You know, how does that work when somebody already has something already done?
If so, using Adobe Illustrator, you can take designs, you can tweak them, you can add to them, you can do a lot with that. So my main goal is to give you what you want. If you want your design slightly tweaked, or if I have any recommendations that I can give you, I might make a separate file, make those edits up, and then offer it to you. Like, hey, this is potential. See if you like that. See if you don't. The worst you can do is say no. In my past experiences, people have been really ecstatic. I've taken some pretty basic logos and do something simple as taking their very plain green leaf and adding a leaf with texture and making it look 100% more professional. So we do offer editing services, yeah. That's
what's up, man. And I think what you do is needed. You know, you have companies around that do it, but it's a big world out here, and it's space for everybody to eat. And for young entrepreneurs, I'm gonna ask you. Then I've asked other people this, but everybody answers different. For young entrepreneurs, any entrepreneur at that point who's on the fence, you know, and scared to launch their vision, launch their business, what would you do to encourage people to take that leap of faith and start executing, you know, bringing their dreams to reality?
What made me take that leap and decide that I wanted to drop the LLC is I was late to work one day, man. That might sound crazy. But I was late to work one day about like 5 minutes. And it just was an eye-opener, man. But no, seriously, if you think if you're already doing it as a hobby, and it's already something that you're making money with, and you're not sure, like if that's the next step that you could need to do, just take a quick Google search and search what you do. Search your business, whether it's cutting grass 4 or 5 yards a week or something small. I don't know. Maybe you do wood burning, or I don't know. Maybe you fold the balloons up for like as a clown. But whatever it is, man, search it on Google, and I bet you on the first 3 pages you find 40 businesses that do that. Successful businesses. It's gonna be proof right there that it can be done. So then why can't you do it? Drive down the bypass. You might see a food truck, or you might see a big business that started out as a food truck, or started out in their garage. You might see a hairstylist that did hair in her kitchen for 2-3 years before she opened up her shop. You know? So you might be a guy like Ronald Morrell that cut grass for a living. Now he got people riding scooters around town. So
crazy, man. It's crazy how people come up. You know, I think I'm real big on people taking leaps of faith, because I think that's real important, man. Well, I think this has been an effective interview. It ain't, you know, it hasn't been super long, but I think sometimes you can pack in a lot of things, man. Is there anything else that you do want to highlight and talk about?
The only thing I would probably add is what we were just talking about as well. Taking a leap of faith. for less than, I want to say less than $300, man, you can go to a bank and get your LLC license done, file paperwork done in mind. So I think that's really something people should keep in mind.
Speaking on that too, when it comes to LLCs, you know, you got companies like LegalZoom and all of that. As long as you know the terminology, you can go through, we're in Indiana, but whatever state that you're at, you can file an LLC. It's not hard.
Not at all.
It is a little more complicated than setting up a Facebook account.
It took me roughly $200-something in like 15 minutes, and I was done.
It's easy. And that's the thing. Anybody can go get an LLC. That's not running a business.
No.
Running a business is waking up every day, you know, having a plan and trying to execute that plan.
I work 7 days a week. 7. 3 at Walmart. Well, I work more days at home than I do at my day job.
And that's how you're going to get it done. And that's why you're going to scale, man. For sure, man. Well, hey, bro, I appreciate you coming through, man. Matty's Print. Hey, where can they follow you on social media, by the way?
Matty's Prints LLC on all social media platforms.
Is there a website that y'all or just all social media right now?
We are about 50% done, and the website will be mattysprintllc.com.
So we definitely gonna shout that out, man. And y'all make sure that y'all check him out. What he does is necessary. And I'm sure you do stuff for businesses, people, whatever. So yeah, man. And I'm gonna have to get some stuff made through him too. So all right, man. That's episode 6. We out this thing.